Hey guys, and welcome back for another video. With this series, I'd like to talk to you guys about fractals individually, quickly, and at their easiest level. For those of you guys out there who are looking to do fractals at the master level, I'll be leaving links into the description of each of these videos from a YouTuber named DeRoyer, who has made some fantastic and very detailed guides on the hardest version or the master tier fractals of the Mist. So whether you came here looking for a higher level guide or you play through this guide and want to know what it's like at some of the higher levels, you were pretty much covered. Moving forward, at the very beginning of the Volcanic fractal, we'll trigger a cutscene showing some Grawl knocking a few prisoners over the edge. Here you also see a Grawl Shaman, which will be our main enemy for this fractal, and as soon as that cutscene ends, he will actually make an exit to the right and we'll fight him later. For now, what we need to focus on are the other Grawl that we saw in that cutscene, as well as the several waves of Grawl that are going to begin spawning in this area as soon as he leaves. In the meantime, just hang around where you started and fight off the several waves of Grawl that are required to fill the white bar in the right corner of the screen. Filling that bar is all that's required to progress to the next portion of this fractal. Taking on these waves of Grawl isn't too difficult on its own, just make sure that you don't get separated from your party so that you don't get bursted down by any spawning groups of Grawl. Once you've dealt with all the enemies in the room, another cutscene will start showing some boulders moving their way down a path off on the right hand side from where you spawned in. At the end of the cutscene, you can progress down that same hallway where you saw the boulders, but first, as with all fractals, anytime you see one, be sure to pick up the Mistlock Singularity. As you make your way down the hallway, you are trying to avoid those boulders, and keep in mind a few things. The boulders themselves leave a fire trail behind them that will damage you over time, and the boulders that are coming from behind you, so it's a good idea to look over your shoulder just to be sure. At the end of the hallway, you'll notice that it opens up into a large room, and it's here that we'll have to fight the Grawl Shaman for the first time. At the start of the fight, you'll notice that the Grawl Shaman is encased in sort of a lava shield, and we'll need to break that shield before we can start doing any damage. Luckily, once the fight starts, molten rocks will begin falling from the sky. You will need to dodge their AoEs or you'll take damage when they impact the ground, but just after the AoE, you'll be able to pick those up as carryable items and throw them at the Grawl Shaman. Throw enough of these at the Grawl Shaman to break his shield and you can begin doing damage. Without his shield, the Grawl Shaman becomes like most fights in Guild Wars 2. Just break his break bar and try to do as much damage as you can while you can. After the fight goes on for a little while, he will gain that shield back again, and you'll just need to do what you did the first time to break his shield, find some of those molten stones and throw them at him. This part of the fractal will end once the Grawl Shaman reaches 25% and retreats from this battle. The entire time you're fighting the Grawl Shaman, there will be some veteran Grawl Shaman that are going to spawn to the back of the room, and their objective is to try and kill the captives that are on either side of the boss. During the course of the fight, it's a good idea to have the majority of your party fighting the boss, but make sure that you keep a couple players on those veterans so that they don't kill any of the captives. This because if you successfully complete this with all captives alive, you will be awarded with a bonus chest. If you have any issues throwing the stone at the Grawl Shaman to break his shield, remember that if you're too close or far away, the stone simply will not hit him. This will require a little bit of trial and error to get down, but as long as you commit yourself to figuring out the ideal spot to throw your stone, you should be able to get this down after 1 or 2 attempts. With the Grawl Shaman out of the way for now, we can head down the hallway. And while you will see a lot of smaller enemies that you can fight, what most parties do is just run past these mobs. The entire path to the final encounter of this fractal will require you to make some pretty tricky jumps if you avoid enemies, so just make sure that none of those enemies attack you and put you in combat, or you'll miss your jump and have to try all over again. Follow along with this video and you should see that there is a pretty straightforward and easy way to get to the last encounter. When you do make it through the hallway and you're on your last stretch into the open room where you're very clearly going to be fighting a boss, be sure to watch out, as on that last ramp there is a bit of an opening and it's very easy to fall down into the lava. When your party's ready, jump down onto the platform, go ahead and grab the Mistlock Singularity that's very close to where you jump down. Any time spent standing on this platform, so the entire fight from here on out, make sure that your character never stops moving because you will start taking burning damage on this surface until the end of the fight if you're standing. To start this fight, just simply start attacking the now legendary imbued shaman, and here, for the most part, you just need to keep his break bar broken and do damage whenever possible. In addition to these usual tactics, you'll also have to take down that same shield you encountered during the first phase. Unfortunately, this time you won't have any molten rocks that you can throw, rather you'll have to hit him a certain amount of times before that shield will break. This shield spawns every 25% of the boss's health, and it will require 40 hits in order to break. While the shaman has his shield active, he'll start making his way towards a few captives, and you need to break that shield before he makes it over there, or he'll kill one of those NPCs and gain a bit of life back. Throughout the course of this fight, there will also be several large AoEs that the shaman's going to place, but he'll mostly place those right below where he's at, so just make sure that you have at least a ranged option if you're worried about being in melee when those AoEs go off. During the Shaman Shield phase, be sure to try out multiple abilities when trying to break it. This because you may be surprised that a few of your abilities actually count as multiple hits, and you're going to want to do as many hits as fast as possible during this phase so that he doesn't reach an NPC. If ever you should find yourself in the down state during this encounter, be sure to look around the room for some lava grubs, as you can attack those and sometimes rally. Successfully completing this boss is the end of the Volcanic Fractal. I hope those of you out there new to Fractals found this helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. But as always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.